see you this morning, and it's wonderful to stand up here and see people smiling. I love it. Well, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Carlsbad, and our theme for the last 3 Sundays and continuing this month is prosperity. And we understand there's a power for good greater than we are that we can use. And so I'm going to use it by doing a prayer treatment. So if you want to get comfortable and just relax, excuse me, and just know with me there is only one life, God's life, one power, all-knowing, everywhere present, one. And we're all one with it. I am one with this power. I am one with this unlimited, inexhaustible source, which I choose to call God. My life is God's life. So today I declare that I draw upon God to bring my good to me, bring me prosperity in all forms. So I open my heart and my mind to accept. And as a conduit, I give and I receive. I give and receive. So I am open to all forms, tributaries, rivers, conduits, rain. I see it raining prosperity in my life. And for this, I am grateful. Prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect creativity, perfect happiness. And I have great riches. I have money to share and money to spare. All doors are now open. The whole world says yes to me. For this, I give thanks. I give thanks for the flow of life. I give thanks for all in my life. And I let go. I let God surprise me in different and exciting ways. I release, I let go, I know it is so, and together we say, and so it is. And now we have Andrea and Billy.
And I would just like to say, first line of this song says, everybody get up on your feet. It's not a rhetorical verse. Feel free to get on your feet. Let the Spirit feel it. Yes, please.
Hey, good morning. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Here we go. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on the holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on the holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everyone you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. What are we? One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey.
Thank you, Andrea, Lane, and Billy. Very good. All right. Today, we'll start off with candle lighting and Pat Walker. Please, come on down. Thank you. You didn't forget. Oh, that's okay. Anywhere you want to start. Yes, we light a candle for life. Life is everywhere present, flowing through each and every one of us. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is our life right now. So please affirm with me, I am life. We light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness in our hearts and recognize our unity. We are points of love, of light within. We are. That life is God's life. That life is our life. So please affirm with me, I am life. Now, we light a candle for love. The birth of love happens within each one of us every time we make room for the Christ consciousness. We're points of love within the heart of God. Please affirm with me, I am love. Sorry, need my bifocals. We light a candle for light. The light is the presence and the power. We're always walking in the light. We radiate light. So affirm with me, I am light. We light a candle for beauty. We're made in the likeness and image of God. We're whole, complete, beautiful, just the way we are. So we accept the beauty of God's perfection as our perfection and affirm with me, I am beauty. We light the candle for joy. Joy is the very nature of spirit and the true essence of each of us. We each bring joy to the world. Please affirm, I am joy. Finally, we light the candle for peace. Today and every day, we open our hearts to peace. We are each a center of peace in the world. So affirm with me, I am peace. And I invite you to take a moment to recognize your own inner light that is always shining within, and we each honor our own metaphysical path, wholeness, oneness, mental healing, through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Thank you, Pat. Oh, it didn't work.
Battery.
Well, thank you. Let's give her a hand. Okay, I have a few announcements. Excuse me. Guess what today is?
Birthday Sunday.
Birthday Sunday. Do we have any birthdays in August? Oh, all right. Oh, and you have one? Yes, Kate.
Same day.
Same day. Oh, and Jan. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. ya.
Well, first I want to welcome anyone who is visiting here for the first time and invite you to make yourself at home, stay for fellowship afterwards. We're going to have birthday cake. And please sign our guest book. Every Sunday, we offer a spiritual mind treatment, also called an affirmative prayer, as our gift to you. So if you have a prayer request today, you can ask one of the practitioners and ministers by hand. You can do treatment today. Grab one of us after the service, or if you would rather put it in written form and put it in the box out there, our prayer team will work on it and do prayer treatment all week long. I just wanted to say flowers. Flowers can be another way of publicly sharing a birthday or an anniversary, so feel free to sign up. The clipboard out there. Ruth Ann brought the flowers today. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Was it a special occasion?
No, it's just for my yard.
Professional yard. You have a special yard.
I picked them this morning.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we can buy them, right? We can buy them?
Sure. You don't have to pick them. So, also, we're continuing the Unexpected Income Program. And if you want to sign up for it, we have forms. And what we do, I think and you're all able to do that. You can read through it and say the treatment each morning to yourself. But we as a group also get together. Robert and I do it out loud every morning. Everyone on the list, we do a prayer for you, for your unexpected income. So this is a community-based spiritual center. So let's recognize our other volunteers. Our greeter, Robert. Treats, we have treats. Jan brought treats, and the other Jan brought treats, and Kate brought treats. Thank you all. Thank you, Jen, for the video recording. And thank Kate DuVivier's husband for the setup. And I just want to say also thanks to Jan, who's doing the bookstore. And let's see. And we're going to have, Larry's going to be doing the reading. Let's do our group reading first. There's a group reading in your program. So let's say this together. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect love, perfect abundance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect abundance. So we have a group song. Did you all get the words? Would you like us to stand?
If you're able, please stand. Yeah, I have the lyrics behind me. There we go. Hey, oh, I know it. Oh, okay. I hope I know it. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so in God. Hey, I trust in God.
Thank you, Andrea Louise. So next, I'd like to invite Larry for an inspirational reading.
All right, now it's on. I don't know what to say, so I guess I won't say it. What'd you say?
Like,
Hold it a little closer.
yeah, the microphone.
Oh, and speak louder, too. Today's reading is from Erwin Gray. He was a divine science minister in the city of Denver, somewhat of my hometown. Not really, but I lived there for 30 years. The purpose of our teaching is to familiarize the individual with the nature of being, of our Creator and creation, to help us realize that we live in the greatness of eternity here and now, as well as in the hereafter. As we learn to live in concord with the truths of being, we find that the law of good is continually active and is working for us. The big idea in divine science and in religious science, therefore, is not just meeting the many problems and vexations which confront us. It is a matter of striving to live in accord with the law of the infinite, so that these problems have no chance to appear in our experience. Problems fall away, health is ours, and abundantly supply is a result of keeping our attention on the big idea, the omnipresence of God. Affirmations of truth such as the following keep our attention fixed upon our unity with the presence, so that the continuous normal flow of spiritual power makes life a real joy. And the affirmations are: as I live confidently with God in my life, inspiration and guidance are continually blessing me. The energy of infinite spirit flows steadily through me, and my health and strength are demonstrated. The divine design for my life brings order and prosperity into all my affairs.
Thank you, Larry. We have one more song.
Right?
Yeah.
I was looking at the
I've
program.
never done this before.
I know. This song is called Listening. You know, it's about listening to God's voice, or that inner spirit. Yeah, yeah. In the beginning, God said, let there be light. And if darkness should be fire, open your eyes, open your eyes. When I am weary, I rest my head upon thy breast. And if I am lonely, I turn to you, God. You hold my hand, you are my breath. Sustain me, watch over me. I'm filled with grace. My heart is open, my mind is free, and I am listening. I am listening. Yeah, yeah. Because I shine my light, I see, clearly I see. At times I may tremble, and it shall pass. I live in you, you live in me. Sustain me, watch over me. I'm filled with grace. My heart is open, my mind is free, and I am listening. Are you listening? And I'm not complaining, I'm simply loving. I won't spend my life in vain, I'm simply loving. I will not complain, I'm simply loving. Sustain me, watch over me. I'm filled with grace. My heart is open, my mind is free, 'cause I am listening. We are listening, we are listening. Ooh, ooh.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Oh, it's my great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Reverend Kate DuVivier, and she is going to talk about breaking through the prosperity logjam with some tips from Rumpelstiltskin.
Right, still again. I love it.
Okay.
Well, it is summertime, and I know a lot of people have been on vacation, and then some of us are not on vacation. So I thought, well, today let's do something a little bit different. So if it is your first time here, you'll know, I just want you to know it's not how we always do it here. But anyway, as I was thinking about today's message, it is the fourth Sunday we've been talking about prosperity, and I asked myself, why is it so hard to talk about prosperity? Why does it seem like we have to go over and over it, and before we can grasp this concept that we live in an abundant universe? It's a matter of accepting our good. And we're also in the midst of the unexpected income program, and if you didn't get a chance to sign up because you were on vacation, we have these forms in the back on the table, and you can just fill it out, and actually inside, it's actually a prayer treatment request form for people to fill out and put in the prayer treatment box. That's all it takes to sign up. And we're doing the program anyway for everyone who signs up, so feel free to sign up. Because our whole thing with this program, yes, it's great to have more money in our lives, but the underlying idea is that this is simply another effort to actually convince ourselves that we live in an abundant universe, that we actually can make progress in our efforts to not just attract, but to accept more good into our lives. So I know that everyone already understands that the word prosperity is not just limited to money or things. Beyond our finances, we define prosperity as having the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So it helps to think of prosperity as talking about financial freedom, but also freedom in general. When you're prosperous, you feel free to live the life of your choosing. So in recent weeks, we've been giving some tips and ideas about how to allow good into our lives in the form of prosperity, but it's hard sometimes. You hear the idea, but how do you really let it flow into your life? So I started thinking about log jams, right? So log jam is when, I guess they still have them, maybe some, but anyway, in the days when timbering was so much more widespread across, especially the Northwest, they would cut the trees down and trim them into lengths, and then they would take them down from the mountains into the rivers, and then the lumber would, these tree trunks basically, would flow down the river, and it wasn't that unusual to get a log jam where there'd be some reason why everything would get stopped up. Nothing would be able to flow, and it would be a big problem to get the logs moving again because they're just all jammed up together. So there was no motion. And so I think, for me, I just thought about it. I thought, well, this is like a metaphor for what happens sometimes in our minds when, despite all we know intellectually about our ability to live in a state of abundant good, it still seems hard to accomplish. Usually, when I talk about the obstacles to living in accordance with our principles and how our, we can have these little thoughts that interfere. I usually talk about, chatter, the kind of mindless chatter, or talk about the monkey mind, how you just kind of, you think you're doing one thing, but in the background there's just all this jumble of thoughts. But well, log jam is like it's like, okay, I'm blocked. And stop. There are things in my life that I am blocked. And so that's kind of how I was thinking about prosperity in my own life. There are certain things, honestly, it's not, for me, it's not so much about money. It's a little more about clutter and declutter. I'm blocked, I have to admit it. So that is a log jam. And so I just wanted to, think about that and kind of say to you, this is the log jam that I'm thinking about, whatever your particular dilemma is that you're facing, whether it's monetary or some other aspect of your life. If it's something where you have felt hopeful, and then you felt patient, and then you felt frustrated, and then you felt discouraged. This is what I'm talking about. That's the log jam I'm talking about. So, now I want to share a story with you. That's kind of like, so I was setting the stage. Now I'm going to share a story. Now, this version of the story was collected by the Brothers Grimm over 200 years ago. But the story itself, the basic concept in the story, is something that has popped up in different cultures all over the world for thousands of years. Because like so many fairy tales, there's a certain universal idea to it. So here we go. By the side of a wood, a long, long time ago, in a country far, far away, ran a fine stream of water. And upon the stream there stood a mill, a place where they grind grain into flour. The miller's house was close by, and the miller, you must know, had a very beautiful daughter. She was, moreover, very shrewd and clever, and the miller was so proud of her that one day he told the king of the land, who used to come and hunt in the wood, that his daughter could spin gold out of straw. Well, this king was very fond of money. And so when he heard the miller's boast, his greediness was raised, and he sent for the girl to be brought to him. Then he led her to a chamber in his palace where there was a great pile of straw. And he gave her a spinning wheel, and he said, "Oh, this must be spun into gold before morning if you love your life." So it was in vain that the poor maiden said, well, it was only a silly boast of her father, for she couldn't do that at all. She didn't know how to spin straw into gold. But the chamber door was locked, and she was left alone. So she sat down in one corner of the room and began to cry and bewail her hard fate, when all of a sudden the door opened and an odd-looking little man hobbled in and said, "Good morrow to you, my good lass. What are you weeping for?" "Alas," said she, "I must spin the straw into gold, and I know not how." "What will you give me," said the little hobgoblin, "to do it for you?" "My necklace," replied the maiden. So he took her at her word and sat himself down to the wheel and whistled and sang, round about, to and behold, reel away, straw into gold." And round about the wheel went merrily, the work was quickly done, and the straw was all spun into gold. When the king came the next morning and saw this, he was very astonished and pleased, but his heart grew still more greedy. And so he shut up the poor miller's daughter once again with a fresh task and another pile of straw. And once again, she didn't know what to do, and she sat down once again and started weeping. But the little hobgoblin soon opened the door and said, "What will you give me to do your task?" "The ring on my finger," she said. So her little friend took the ring and began to work at the wheel again and whistled and sang, round about, lo and behold, reel away, straw into gold. Till long before morning, all was done. The king was greatly delighted to see all this glittering treasure, but still he didn't have enough. So he took the miller's daughter to an even bigger room full of even more straw and said, "All this must be spun tonight, and if it is, you shall be my queen." As soon as she was alone, the little man came in and said, "What will you give me to spin this straw into gold for you for the third time?" "I have nothing left," she said. "Then say you will give me the first little child that you have when you are queen." "Oh, that might never even happen, said the miller's daughter to herself. And she didn't know any other way to get the task done, so she agreed to do what he asked. Round went the wheel again to the old song, and the little man once more sang and spun the straw into gold. And the next morning, the king came in, discovered everything had been done, and kept his word, and made the miller's daughter his wife, and she really did become queen. Well, later, at the birth of her first little child, she was so happy, and by that time she had forgotten all about her promise to the little hobgoblin. But one day, he came into her room where she was sitting, playing with the baby, and reminded her of it. Then she was so sad at her misfortune, and she said she would give him all the wealth of her kingdom if only he would let her off. But it was in vain. But finally, she cried so much her tears softened him. And so he said, well, I will give you 3 days grace. And if during that time you can tell me my name, you shall keep your child. So the queen lay awake all night, thinking of all the odd names that she had ever heard, and she sent messengers all over the land to find out new names. And the next day, when the little man came, she began with Timothy, Ichabod, Benjamin, Jeremiah, and all the names she could remember. But to each one that she named, the little man said, Madam, that is not my name. So the second day, she began with all the funny names she could think of, Bandy Legs, Hunchback, and so on. But the little hobgoblin still said to every one of them, Madam, that is not my name. Well, the third day, one of the messengers came back and said, I traveled 2 whole days without hearing of any other names. But yesterday, as I was climbing a high hill among the trees of the forest, I saw a little hut. And in front of that hut, there was a fire burning. And around the fire, a funny little man was dancing on one leg and singing, merrily the feast I'll make, tomorrow I'll brew, tomorrow bake, merrily I'll dance and sing, for next day will a stranger bring. Little does my lady dream that Rumpelstiltskin is my name. When the queen heard this, she jumped for joy. And as soon as her little friend came, the hobgoblin, she sat down upon her throne and she called all her court around to enjoy the fun. The nurse stood right next to her holding the baby as if it was going to be given up. And the little man began to laugh at the thought of having the little poor child to take home with him to his hut in the woods. And he cried out, now, lady, what is my name? Is it John? She said. No, madam. Is it Tom? No, madam. Is it Jemmy? No, it is not. Can your name be Rumpelstiltskin? Some witch must have told you that. Some witch told you that, cried the little man and dashed his right foot, stomped his right foot in such a rage, so deep into the floor that he was forced to lay hold of his foot with both his hands to pull it back up out of the floor. Then he made the best of his way off, while the nurse and all the people laughed, while the baby crowed and cooed, and all the court laughed at him for having had so much trouble for nothing, and said, we wish you a very good morning and a merry feast, Mr. Rumpelstiltskin. that's the end of the story. You might be wondering why I told that story. Well, it's obviously a prosperity story, right? Turning a straw into gold. And when we share a folk tale with a child, there is no need to discuss the meaning of the story. You know, we just let them make of it whatever they will. Whatever makes sense to them, whatever they think about it, know that as time goes on, their understanding will grow. But today I thought maybe we could use this story kind of like a little faceted mirror. If you've ever seen those little feng shui mirrors or Indian mirrors where they have so many little pieces of mirror glued to something in a shape. And just imagine that each character in the story mirrors a facet in our own psyche, in our own mind. So one of the many possible ways to look at the story of Rumpelstiltskin is to think of it as a timeless story about how we create and then solve dilemmas or problems. Because at the beginning of the story, there was nothing going wrong. Miller had a nice business, the daughter was doing whatever she was doing, the king was having a hunt, everyone was fine. Everything was fine. But somehow this dilemma got created where this topic of turning straw into gold actually put the life of the miller's daughter and the life of the little prince at risk. So from nothing, all of a sudden, there was a big problem. If you start with the miller, because he kind of started things off in the wrong way, right? Why on earth would he have put his daughter's life at risk just to make a good impression on the king who was just riding by? Did it ever even occur to him what would happen if he said something like that of what might happen to his daughter? Well, this is how I was thinking about the mind chatter or the monkey mind, or in his case, way worse. He completely, I believe, we could say that he completely was so tuned into his silly idea about making a good impression, looking like a success, hoping that, some miracle and, his daughter would have a good life, that he just blurted out the lie about spinning straw into gold without even thinking about the repercussions at all. Have you ever said or done something without thinking it through? I know I have, right? But then once he did, this mindless, thoughtless blurting out set into motion a whole crazy and dangerous chain of consequences. I mean, who would have guessed that the king would be so greedy that he would treat the miller's daughter with such recklessness? Who would guess that? What was the king thinking? So to me, when I think about the king, because it's like, wow, that was a really mean king. And yet, in another way, you can think of the king as just being the material world. The world grinds away in an impersonal way. So yes, in the beginning, he takes advantage of the miller's daughter out of greed, but that was actually an impersonal type of greed. He didn't have anything against the girl. Work or die, he said. That's kind of how sometimes it seems like the world is. Certainly when this fairy tale was written in the old country, in the rural areas, work or die was the story of people's lives. But But if you think of the king as a person and not just representing kind of this materialism, you could say that he was very insensitive because of his personal greed, which blinded him to his possibility for real happiness. And then, of course, there's the miller's daughter. So I think the miller's daughter, she's the main character of the story to me, because think about it. She was the one who was supposed to turn this straw into gold. So, facing her dilemma of her father's wrong-headed impulses, the king's cold calculations, there she was, desperate. Of course she gave away all she had to save her life. And of course, without thinking it through, she even promised to give away that thing that would be most precious to her someday, her child, her future. And if you think about it, was that any different than what her father had done to her? Give away his future, his child. She was a victim. She felt like a victim. She acted like a victim. And her life unfolded through this without much thought on her own part, besides how to scrape through the situation day to day. And then, of course, there was Rumpelstiltskin, who was a very magical, odd figure, So let's just say he had an amazing talent. A lot of us have amazing talents. He had this amazing talent, and he kept it hidden, just like he kept himself hidden. So, looking at the story from a metaphysical point of view, I could say he seems to represent a very unloved and lonely feeling. Being kind of like a grouchy old hermit. And yet, wasn't it he who showed up at exactly the right time to save the princess from her death? But then, instead of being kind and helping out of the goodness of his heart, he tried to take something precious from her in exchange for what he did. Now, if you think about the story and you wanted to turn it into a new thought story, or cooperative type of a story, you'd say, well, if he was so lonely, why did he bargain that if he turned the straw into gold, that he could have the queen and the king build a little house for him right in the middle of the palace? And then he could have been part of the community and his loneliness would have gone away. No, instead he had this other plan, which of course loneliness attracts loneliness, which was he could basically steal the baby and then he would have a companion out in his little hut all by himself. So he played out his own logjam in his own mind of being unloved and unlucky, which in the end guaranteed that instead of being a hero, he was a laughingstock. So the logjams, as I see it in all the characters' minds, influenced their thoughts and their actions, so that together all of them created the stoppage of good unfolding. And to me, of course, the baby could be seen to represent good unfolding, the future unfolding. All these dilemmas caused by mental blockages, selfishness, and in the miller's daughter's case, our chief character, by a sense of powerlessness and hopelessness. She simply went along to get along. But then what happened? When everything looked so bleak, when Rumpelstiltskin actually showed up to take the baby, she woke up. She woke up from her state of dreamy acquiescence She woke up like a sleeping beauty, or like I'm sure each one of you has done when a certain situation became so unbearable that it just woke you up. She woke up. She came to her senses. She made a new decision not to give in to Rumpelstiltskin's demand. The story basically says, well, she renegotiated. And isn't that what we teach? When you change your thinking, everything changes. She got a new deal. The new deal came about because of her new thought about the situation she was in. She made a decision to stand up for her good, for her future, and then, because of that, suddenly she knew what to do. She called upon her helpers, her community, her friends, her neighbors. She sent them out as messengers to help her solve the dilemma. She didn't have to do it all alone. So, do you begin to see parts of yourself in each character? Do you begin to see how indecision or poor decisions based on what's not true can get us into some jams of our own making? And also that this story, it's an adventure story. It's a hard luck story. It's a good luck story. But underneath it all, it's urging us subconsciously to live sensibly, to be awake to what's going on, to not just cause problems without thinking. Because all the problems in the story were caused by misguided thinking. And all the problems in the story were solved by clear thinking. Knowing the name, the simple name of Rumpelstiltskin, caused everything, the whole situation, all the problems, to melt away as though they had never been there at all. Except, you could also say that the whole story ends in a great healing for everyone. I would say even for Rumpelstiltskin, because he was blocked from doing great harm. So mistakes were made by everyone, yet in the end something changed. The path of disaster was changed. The dilemma melted away. The logjam of too many mixed up and false ideas broke loose. And so that today is my story about how each one of us, metaphorically speaking, can turn our own straw into gold. How we can each, metaphorically speaking, shift from a state of financial fear into a state of financial freedom, brought about by clear thinking and a willingness to find clear avenues, pathways. Financial freedom, shifting into financial freedom, shifting into a state of increasing excellent health, shifting into a state of feeling no longer lonely, but feeling and treasuring the relationships that we do have, our community. Rumpelstiltskin is a story about how we can turn our back on the unwanted conditions we face by waking up, seeing what's really going on, and then making new decisions based on new thoughts that usher in new days and new ways of living. And so it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you don't have to stand up this time.
I was thinking we could take some of that gold that she spun and like start start something, like a nonprofit or something.
There's an opportunity in this song for y'all to participate. Would you like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna sing. Do-wop, 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 bop. Here we go again. Go with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do-wop, 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 bop. They got it.
They got it.
Watch me for that. Watch her all the time. But when I start doing it, you do it.
How are they gonna watch you and watch me at the same time?
Because we're kind of close. You can do it. I'll just go like this or something. If I go like this, don't do it.
It's called gratitude.
Yeah.
Let me drop my line.
Yeah.
Gratitude brings more good things. Gratitude makes life better. I'm grateful every single day. I'm thankful even right now. Gratitude brings more good things. Gratitude makes life better. I'm grateful every single day. I'm thankful even right now. I set an intention every single day. I'm grateful, grateful and I pray. I set an intention every single day. I'm grateful even when things don't go my way. But they do go my way when I keep my mind in the gratitude, in the flow of gratitude. Yeah. I'm grateful every single day. I'm thankful even right now. I set an intention every single day. I'm grateful, grateful and I pray. I set an intention every single day. I'm grateful even when things don't go my way. Even right now. Even right now. Even right now. Even right now. Set an intention every single day. I'm grateful, grateful and I pray. I set an intention every single day. I'm grateful even right now. Even right now. Even right now.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Good work.
That was really nice, thank you. I'm grateful too. And now it brings us to our moment of recognizing our prosperity through the act of grateful giving. And so if you just want to think for a moment. So we have a little song that we're going to do while we pass around. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to read just a short passage from Raymond Charles Barker, who wrote The Power of Decision. I love it. He says, say this to yourself. I like money. I believe that it is God's activity, that it is good. I use it with wisdom. I release it with joy. I send it forth without fear, for I know that under a divine law, it comes back to me increased and multiplied. I thought it was a beautiful way of putting it. So I just want to express my gratitude to everyone. So, in your program's a little tiny song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So, in your program, there is a list of other ways you can give besides cash or check on Sunday. So I know a lot of people prefer to use Venmo, and a few people prefer to mail a check in monthly, and we really appreciate that. It's really what keeps us going. So we're going to have fellowship. We've got some little cakes and other goodies. So before we close out and have our final song, which is on the back of your program, I would like to give a closing treatment. So I just invite you to take a moment and remember the truth with me that this is a spiritual universe, that there is nothing but spirit, that spirit is infinite, eternal, all-knowing, constantly expanding, that everything we are, everything we experience, everything we have and don't have, anything we can imagine, all the possibilities of the universe exist as spirit becoming. That each one of us then is a spiritual being having a human experience. It must be so because there is only spirit and nothing else. Only God and nothing else. And so recognizing this unity of myself, of each of us, with the great infinite good, I understand that my words are real, and that spirit really responds to our words and our thinking. And so I claim good unfolding for each and every person here today, and each and every person who we hold in our hearts, and each and every person who walks this earth, each animal, each plant, each grain of sand is a beautiful expression of beingness, being. And I recognize that it is good. It is good. It is abundant good. And so I claim this abundance now flowing into our lives in new, wonderful, expected and unexpected ways. And I declare that each person who chooses to be open to receiving more good of all kinds into their lives now receives it. And I am grateful. I am grateful that this is the truth. I am grateful that we have come together to celebrate the beauty and the wonder of spirit. I am grateful for all the good in expression right here, right now, always, everywhere. I understand that Spirit always responds to us in a personal way as we open our hearts and allow ourselves to be more and more in tune with the good. This is the truth as I know it. I turn my word over to Spirit itself, understanding that it is already done, and inviting you to know this with me by declaring with me, and so it is. Thank you, everyone. If you want to stand, on the back of your program is our closing song.